From breaking glass ceilings in the Fortune 100 world to coaching leaders in 39 countries, Sarah Hathorn has built a career on spotting possibilities before others even glimpse the horizon. She is the visionary behind corporate DNA and the predictable promotion process, powerful frameworks that have transformed leaders and cultures around the globe. In this exclusive feature, Sarah shares the insights, turning points, and bold visions that keep her and the leaders she mentors racing towards the future. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are so excited about this interview, Sarah, and I'm going to start with the first question, which is, you've been called an architect of corporate DNA. If you could redesign company culture, like redecorating a dream home, what fresh features would you add to make it thrive?
Well, I believe that a high-performing culture is built on three things. One, open design. Two, strong foundations. And three, intentional details. So let me tell you what I mean by that. The open design means kind of dismantling those silos that happen in organizations, right? I'm talking about really more open door policies to ensure that information is flowing freely throughout the entire ecosystem. The second foundation is really about the organization's values. What are their non-negotiable principles that really are going to guide the decisions going forward? Thirdly, it's always the devil's in the details, right? So, this is really how leaders communicate, how they recognize performance, how they are developing people and their succession planning strategy. I mean, I think if you get all of those right, you have an organization where people want to stay and have a really very long-term career.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And that moves us to the second one. Your predictable promotion process is famous for helping leaders rise. So, if you had to give it a fun new nickname for the next generation, what would you call it?
Wow, you don't like predictable promotion? I thought that was pretty snappy. Um, but for the next generation, I think I would call it Leadership Launchpad. And
Ooh,
here's why I say that. It's not really about just climbing one rung on the ladder. It's about equipping leaders with resilience and influence and strategic thinking to be successful and sustainable once they arrive at the higher level, right? But I also think that promotions should never be endpoints.
hmm.
I think they are new beginnings that require preparation and discipline to keep leaders, growing and thriving. And, we never make it to the top of the summit, but we sure want to keep trying to grow and thrive and get there.
Yes. And promotion could be in any form. So,
Yeah, at any level, right? I
and
mean, it could be, someone going from an individual contributor to their first management position, or it could be a senior vice president going into the C-suite. It doesn't matter.
absolutely. Yes. Well, I like both the names.
Thank you. I thought predictable promotion was pretty snappy.
Mine is the image launchpad, so I like that you mentioned the launchpad thing.
And the interesting thing about that system is that I don't know of another trademark system in the world that has the heft behind helping people get to the next level rapidly.
Hmm. Well, and I can see that this is trademarked and this is it's just yours.
Right, right. Well,
Yeah.
and I think as leaders and people in the industry, we all need to kind of continue to create intellectual property, right?
Yeah.
That helps us be unique and different to grow our businesses where we're not vanilla and just like the next image consultant or the next kind of leadership consultant on the planet. So,
Yes. Yes. And especially processes like these,
right.
where you have put in so much. So I'm so happy that this is there.
Yes, yes.
Well, now the third question is, you've worked with 39 countries. What's the quirkiest, most unexpected leadership lesson you've picked up on your travels? This would be quite interesting, I believe.
Yeah, so let me say that in the beginning, I believe in traveling the world and working with leaders in over 39 countries,
Mhm.
that we are oftentimes more alike than we are different. Although I think our leadership styles vary around the world. And so let me give you an example of that and what I've learned from that. When I had been working in Japan, I think that their silence oftentimes shows thoughtfulness and respect when they're talking to someone else in business. I think in Latin America, leadership tends to focus more about their relationships. I think that, and in contrast to that, in the United States, on the other hand, here we emphasize speed, results, innovation. It's a strong push to make quick decisions, show measurable results, get things done. And I think oftentimes we can learn from other organizations in other countries, which was where I have learned that. I mean, I think the challenge in the US is about balancing that, sense of urgency with a greater needs to pause, to
Mhm.
listen, to collaborate with others, so we stay aligned over the long term. So I think the lesson that I've learned for global leaders is this, that great leadership is situational. Influence does not follow one single formula. I think those that adapt their style when they're working with leaders in other countries, that's going to make the biggest impact across the cultures.
Yeah, yeah. And in fact, I was thinking you may have come across people who are from a different origin, but they are in a different country. So,
Yes.
so that,
Yes. And I've worked with leaders who, come from, like, let's say Iran, and they're working here in the US, and they have to learn to adapt, right, to our US, our customs, our cultures, how we work in business. And oftentimes I'm asked to coach those people because they want to pretend like they're back in their home country, but
right.
they also have to adapt their style as well.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree on that. And unless they change, they won't be able to adjust with what the requirements are of that country and that company.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's just situational. You just have to adapt, even in a meeting with people of different cultures, how you're going to present or how you're going to negotiate or whatever with all of that.
Yeah, right. So moving on to the next one from, yes, from Fortune 100 leader to global mentor. If your career was a movie, what would the plot twist moment be? And what's the exciting sequel you're filming now?
Wow. Okay. Never thought about that question before, so that's a unique one. I think the twist was when I left my Fortune 100 executive career at the peak of success. I'd been there 26 years.
Mhm.
To actually start a global leadership consulting practice. And I'm quite proud of that because next year it will mark 20 years of running a very thriving and successful practice. As we know, many people, that's tough today, right? A lot of small businesses that go out of business, within, 3 to 5 years. The exciting sequel, as you said, I think is about shaping the next generation of executives, those that are writing their leadership legacy today. And really that's done by me helping to equip them to thrive in disruption and build organizations that will outlast them.
Great. I
That's
was thinking
that's the next sequel.
superwoman who's saving the corporates.
I don't know if I say all that, but maybe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that's what came to my mind.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
superwoman saving the corporates.
yeah.
Well, so oh, there comes the superpower one. So if tomorrow's leaders could have one magical superpower, would it be more about reading minds, inspiring hearts, or making impossible things happen?
Well, without question, it's inspiring hearts. And here's why I say that. I believe that when people are fully engaged, they will help you accomplish what once seemed impossible. some kind of gathering both categories there you're talked about, right? And I think that the role of the leader or the executive really isn't to be superhuman. It's to inspire others by, painting the vision, fostering belief that we can achieve that, and gaining alignment so the organization achieves the vision and exceeds the expectations.
That's
So
beautiful.
definitely inspiring hearts.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love that. And unless you're able to inspire hearts, it's just not, I would say it's just not worth it, because one has to inspire hearts as well.
But haven't you seen how somebody can have a movement? I mean, let's look at Martin Luther King, right? He inspired hearts. He had that movement to at what point made it look like the impossible become possible, right? But he did that through inspiring hearts. And each of us can do that today with helping our clients and people like that to really move missions forward. Very, very powerful.
Yes, yes. I'm glad you shared that. I'm so happy that it's going to reach out to so many people who are going to watch and read this. Okay, now moving on to the next one. This is your love for travel, music, and cooking clearly fuels you. If these passions were ingredients, what recipe would they make for your perfect workday?
Well, I don't know that I ever have a perfect work day, but I think that, my love of travel is about curiosity and learning about different cultures, different leadership styles, all of that. I think my music is about rhythm and flow. And I think my cooking, my gourmet cooking, is about creativity and balance, right? The balance of the right flavors, the right ingredients. And so I think that if I would combine all of those ingredients together, and I would have the mindset then to explore, to stay in sync, and to innovate. And for me, that's the recipe for both personal fulfillment and to achieve great business results.
Wow, amazing. And if you were to put a name to that, what would it be? That's my question.
Name to it: Sarah's Success Formula
Ooh,
recipe.
lovely. Amazing.
For anybody's success, not even my success, but anybody's success. I mean, I think if you find the right ingredients that fuel you and ignite you from within, that's really around creating that fulfillment that you feel like you're leaving, you're living out your purpose in life. I don't know what's a better feeling than that.
Yes, yes. But then they need to learn the recipe.
Yes.
You.
Yeah, but I think it's their recipe, right? That's my recipe.
Yeah.
But I think everybody has to figure out what's their recipe involved from the things that, like you said, those are the things that I love, right? Music, travel, and cooking. So
Just inspiration from you, but then they can create their own. Love.
exactly.
Okay, now 10 years from now, if someone wrote a headline about your legacy, what playful or inspiring title would you want splashed across the page?
The mentor who built the next generation of leaders. And what do I mean by that? I think my work has always been focused on empowering executives, not just to succeed individually, but to multiply their influence by developing others. And I think that if my clients could look back one day and say, Sarah really helped me leave behind stronger, more resilient leaders at every level, then that's the legacy that I would be proud of.
Totally. And that's so powerful, right? That you have made someone reach to that level, and they not just thank you for that, they know that they have been able to reach there because there's this change that you brought into them.
Right.
They have
And I would call
recognized that too.
and I would call that the leadership multiplier effect, if you want another title there.
Yeah, yeah, love that. Multiplier effect. Beautiful. Now, just for fun, if you could wake up tomorrow doing something completely different from your current career, what wild or unexpected adventure would you choose?
Well, that's a question I often think about someday when I no longer want to do all this craziness that I'm doing. So it might not become as crazy as we think it is. But since I have this great sense of wanderlust to travel,
Mm.
I'd say that I would become a leadership travel curator. And what do I mean by that? Taking executives on global trips where culture and strategy meet. So just imagine for a moment exploring Switzerland, Japan, or Argentina, not just as a tourist, like oftentimes we do, but of students of how different societies lead, innovate, and collaborate. And so I think that travel is one of the greatest classrooms, and I think just that guiding leaders through those experiences would be just incredibly rewarding to me. It's how I see things when I travel. They're very different than how other people see that same lens.
Yeah,
So that would be my next dream job one day, or the job that I would do if I wasn't doing what I'm doing today.
I'd love to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, wouldn't it be fun? I mean, taking people on excursions to learn different things. In fact, I'm going in October with a group of business people through Lake Como, Italy, Switzerland, up to Zermatt, Geneva, and that's what we're doing. We're going as business people,
Mhm.
not just as tourists, to talk to organizations like the Red Cross in Geneva, and some businesses in Lake Como and Lake Marta. So to actually learn and expand and bring back some of their best practices. I mean, that's a whole other kind of trip.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so much to learn while you're traveling, and plus the way you can network with those people, and also who you're not traveling with, but just people who are living in that country, you're still networking with. That
Right. Right. Yeah.
that's
And I love those kinds of experiences. So I'm going on this trip with people, but I would love to lead a trip like that one day.
amazing. So now we are going to get started with the quick fire round. Are you ready?
Okay.
This,
I think I'm ready.
so this is just for fun.
All right.
It's going to be fast. So sunrise or sunset for big ideas?
Sunrise.
Do you want to explain
Yeah,
why?
because I think a great sunrise, it's fresh, right? It starts bringing clarity and energy and perspective to help me reset and reframe whatever my day's challenges are.
Lovely. One song that always gets you in a leadership mindset.
Don't Stop Believing by Journey, because I think that great leaders keep vision and optimism alive even when the road gets tough.
Perfect. Best travel destination for a creative boost.
Switzerland. And the reason I say that's because where I'm heading in October. To me, it's the combination of breathtaking landscapes and precision-driven culture. And so to me, it's going to inspire this balance between big picture vision and disciplined execution.
Great. Coffee or tea when you need a breakthrough moment.
Always coffee because it's bold, fast, and it gets things moving, including me, and great ideas.
Lovely. First word that comes to your mind when you hear New Horizons.
Unlimited opportunities. I mean, I think that leaders that can see beyond the horizon position themselves and their businesses for longer term success.
Awesome. And if you could instantly master one skill, what would that be?
Negotiation at the highest level. And I believe that mastering the art of negotiation to turn even the most complex, difficult, high stakes situations into win win outcomes, that moves businesses, careers, and relationships forward at warp speed.
Awesome. Awesome. And this has been, I would say, this has been one of the best interviews ever. And I'm sure people are going to learn so much from this, Sarah.
I hope so. I mean, these are just my points of view and my perspective of being a master in the industry, but I enjoy sharing my perspectives. I enjoy collaborating and talking with you today. I mean, I just, it's all good. And if people can just take a few little things that I said from today's interview and try to think about them and apply them to their business, I just know that they'll reap the rewards going forward.
Absolutely. In fact, if they read between the lines and if they read it fully and they understand the details, I'm sure they're going to get so much out of it. They can even rebuild their programs and they can work towards making it so much better. So thank
Yes.
you, Sarah, and
Thank you.
it's been such an honor and pleasure to have you here for this interview.
Thank you so much. And it's been my pleasure to share what I can share with everybody today.
Thank you.
Thank
Signing
you.
off now.
Goodbye.